ho, ho, folks. Don't have my microphone on yet, but I guess we're going to continue on with this Toyota truck. I got a brake line to go to the back I need to put together here. I got a fuel line I need to rig up. I'll turn this around and I'll show you what I did for the fuel sender. See if I did this the right way. Okay, here's the new fuel tank, right? Yeah. Here's the old fuel sender, because the new one, it works fine, except the fuel line was rusted real bad. Just the pressure one. So, I took one of them brass copper, nickel copper, whatever lines, and hand bent it and drilled out the old one here. Ooh, out of focus a little bit. And then I JB welded it just to fill it back in. I think that'll work fine. And the fuel pump was working good, so why buy a $160 frickin' one of these jobs when it was working fine? I had to get a new fuel level sensor, which goes in here. My kittens aren't happy today. They're wanting to get out and about, but I can't have them under my feet or I'll hurt them. Not on purpose. So here they are. Oh, they're trying to get out. Whoopee! Woohoo! They're cute, but they're getting to be a lot more active. Right, Mom? Yeah. Well, let's see what we can do here. So, fuel sender is in one of these boxes. And today, to work on that stuff, and I'll try to set you up so you can see me doing some of this stuff. Oh, that's neat. I didn't realize there was a screen in there. Huh, let's turn that around. See if I can get a picture of that. Huh, down inside there's a kind of a little flapper in there. Kind of hard to see, but it's in there. Weird. I don't think the original had that I remember. Well, whatever. As long as it takes gasoline in there and pumps it back out without leaking on the ground, I guess that's the main thing. I mean, it was a Rock Auto offering. It's not a highly expensive one. I think it was a Spectra brand. I think. Anyway, I'll set you up. I gotta finish the brake line first, and then I gotta sadly have to run to town to get some 5/16 fuel line because, yeah, I use 3/8 on everything. So, yeah. All right, see you after a bit. Well, I'm down here. I hope I can get this figured out, how to show you what I'm doing. Get these work lights here. It's kind of a difficult spot to work in here when run the camera. Well, we're back under here. Okay, so here's the brake line, and I'm sure it's gonna leak all over me. It's in good shape, but it's not into the back half of the spring. So I'm gonna, instead of replacing the line all the way to the front, which is a pain in the butthole, I'm going to cut it in this opening here. And if I can get that line to cooperate with me. There, that'll help. I can get this thing pop over this other line because I'm going to need to be able to spin the cutting tool and stuff. Let's see. Perhaps I'll just cut the fuel line first and get it out of the way. The brake line's kind of a pain in the hoover. And it's full of fuel line. It's nice. Woohoo! That stinks. Well, the best way to get rid of that, wipe it off and, you know, do this. Woo! Pyrotechnics! Feels good. Nice and warm. Okay, well, as soon as that burns off, good. It'll stink a lot less. Cut this fuel line here first, quick a second. Get it out of my way. Put it about here. This is also rusty and yucky. Cutter's getting a little bit on the old side. Just keep spinning and then tightening and then spinning till it goes easy. And tighten it again until it goes easy. Not rocket science. Tighter, pretty soon it'll just pop off. Of course, if you got it too crooked, it'll start making threads, which is problematic. And you got to cut back further. Oh, we're almost through. I can feel it. And there it is. Okay. More gas. Turns out it does have gas in it. Go that way. Not what I want to do. Let's clean this up again here. We'll make sure this is good and empty this time. Alright, there we go. Do a little burn off. That way I don't get a headache from the stinking fumes. Fires of love. Back on. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing this for everybody. Alright, that's enough. Get a little cool down here, just in case. Nah, she's not even hot enough to care about. Okay, well, I gotta find a way to put the camera up a wire first. Whoa! Okay, up we go. All right, I gotta find the Scotch Brite. Do a little cleaning here. There's one. I'm going to put a rubber hose on that. But I got this fancy tool that I can make a bubble. Pull this out of the way so I can work on it. Put a little bubble on that hose or the fuel line so that when I put the rubber hose on it, it will not pull off with the pressure. We'll get this nice and clean first. Might as well do that to this brake line as well while I'm here. Because it makes the cutter stay more true when I'm cutting because there's rust on there. See, it's a good line, it's just dirty. This other, on the other hand, is really crusty. So, yeah, we're not going to use that back half. But anyway, it'd be neat if I could zip tie that over there somehow. Suppose I could get one of those little rubber, little orange, sometimes positioning things so you can work on them easier. Makes it a lot less frustrating. I get frustrated pretty easy when it comes to awkward garbage. So, okay, well that is going to work, and then I'll put it through this little exhaust pipe here. It should be out in the open like I want. See? My wife got me those rubber wires, whatever you want to say. They work really good. So, take my tool here and had an old guy talk me into spending the money on this little reamer for doing brake lines and fuel lines. Boy, I tell you, it really does make it better. Get you a nice clean edge for your double flare, and all them burrs are gone. You don't have to sit there and worry about having a messed up looking or functioning brake or fuel line leaking because the flare is like crooked. Sometimes it doesn't take much to get them crooked. So I'll get my master cool set here, which is kind of leaky. I'm not happy about that. We got it secondhand. Probably why they got rid of it, because it weeps a little bit. A little hydraulic job here. It's pretty cool, except for the fact that it leaks a little bit. See? Weeped a little bit from the cylinder. Kind of annoying. Like I said, that's probably why they got rid of it. So, that's fine. I got it cheap that way, I guess. So I gotta have this wing dinger in here. First of all, you gotta have the right size die in there. And this is a 5/16. Turns out that's what I have in there. So in order to get this thing, this one's made for a fuel line. I can't remember the name. Let's see here. 5/16. Here. 1/4, 3, 5/16. So here's the double flare hydraulic setup for that. So basically, die like this, and then you take your, this is the second flare that double flares it. You can see that. The inner one is the one you start with. I guess I could do it with that. Start with that. And this clamps the die, but you got to get your line in there first. So this in there, like yay so. And this is sticking through. Normally you have about 1/8 of an inch of pipe sticking out. That right there ought to work. Put it until it just touches that crimp. Yeah. Then we'll make a nice little bubble flare, we'll call it. So anyway, close. Feel it when it touches. It's touching now. Oop. Let's see what that did. Might not work. Let's see. No, it didn't work yet. Let's see here. Let's try it again. I'm not saying I get it perfect every time. Sometimes it takes more patience than I got. I think I need to do is turn that in. Let's try to pump it down here. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Oh, put this on there again. Go in till it just starts going in this little that red is not my blood. Okay, let's try again here. Alright. I think that's good. Crank it in until it starts to make the flare part way. Out there, I think that's enough. Let's try that. No, still didn't want to do it. What am I doing wrong here? Huh, maybe it just won't clamp onto this. It's all the way up in there. Yeah, crank this down way harder than this. There we go. Now we'll tighten it up and see what she does. Crank it out. She's gonna leak it. That's enough right there. Oops. Let's hope that did something this time. It looks like it did. It won't retract off of it, so yeah, she bubbled it out a little bit. Yep. I know it's hard to see, but it did. The hose clamp shouldn't pull by it now. You know, I'll smooth this out a little bit again, just clean it up. There you can see the bubble a little better. See a little bump? Yeah. That's gonna work. I need to get some 5/16 fuel line, which I do not have. Fuel hose, I mean. Yeah, I'll clamp it back here. She actually poofed this whole area up a little bit. I'll clamp it back here and here, maybe double. I'm not afraid to double clamp something. Planning on using those line clamps. They're better than the worm type ones because they got like a cross bolt. They're way stronger. They're more permanent, more better design. Yes. They don't come loose. So anyway, next I'm going to cut this brake line. And about guaranteed that's going to leak all over. I suppose I'm going to get my double flare stuff ready before. I'm going to use my regular double flare tool for this. Anyway, looking forward to this because this is kind of an irritable thing, making this line inside here. I'll pull it out as far as I can, but it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. It's going to leak lots of brake fluid, and I don't like bleeding out all the brake fluid so that you lose your whatever you want to say, all your fluid out of your system and get it full of air. I mean, I'd love to just bleed this back brake line here without having to bleed all the front brakes and everything. Because that little reservoir on these Toyotas is kind of tiny. But one way or another, we'll survive it. It's gonna leak some fluid. There's no way around it. Close. Pretty close now. Alright. Let the leaking commence, I guess. Yeah. So, what you do here is you obviously let it leak. So, you start with, like it shows you here, the double flare. So I'm gonna put this on 3/16. No, first I gotta hit it with my little ream. My little ream. Ream. I'll pull this out here. Get rid of this. Like I say, I'm gonna lose a lot of brake fluid in the process here. That's just life. This out where I can work on it. What's I can do about it? This is a really tiny line. See how having that ream is so handy? It actually fits in that 3/16 line. How else are you going to get a burr out of a 3/16 line without a drill bit? That's normally what I used to do. Alright, that's clear. So, a flare thing on here. That is not one. It's the smallest one. Then you take your 3/16 and you find your height by doing this. This side, this little side rib on here tells you how much you need sticking up. So if you have too much, it'll be messed up. If you have too little, it'll be messed up. I love this leaking all over my arms. It's gonna get on my pants. Okay. Actually got that a little bit high. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's a little high. If I do that, it'll mess it up. It'll be messed up. So I gotta go off to the side with my elbows and constantly drip on me or whatever. Maybe if I put this in there and slow it down just a little bit. Not like brake fluid is insanely thin. But I hate that. Hate that feeling. Now I gotta get my 10mm out because I need to tighten that up. Or like that's 13, I'm sorry. Used to be 10. Let's take it out of there. Oh, it's always the wrong way, isn't it? Crank that down. 3/16 is a thinky little line. You know what? I gotta do this over again. I like doing my job so much, I gotta do it twice. What did I forget to do? Everybody's screaming at me. I gotta put the nut on there. Let's plug this sucker for a minute though, while I go locate a nut. Just a little practice. Gotta put this on there, it'll stop the oil. the oil long enough for me to find the steel nut that I need to use for this brake line. There we go. Stop. Guess it didn't stop. Crossbar. We'll tighten it just slightly. There we go. So we don't leak all the fluid out. So I'm going to take this back off since I had a nice little practice session there. But it'll be set for when I do it for real here. That off. This off. Put the nut on as it's supposed to be. She was on there. Do it again. I like the job so much I do it twice. Okay. No, I didn't patent those words. Heard that from another YouTuber. Well, he's right. Okay. Well, we got a nut, see? I like it a lot. I didn't patent that either. Okay. Get this right on. Yep, that's perfect. For how much projection there is. I'll tighten this up. Hopefully everything will be okay. Without getting every last ounce of that oil out of the reservoir of my body. Just in there. Getting it on my elbow. Oh, I hate it getting on my pants. No, not on the pants. Don't do it. Sometimes it listens to you. Usually not. Okay, that's started. Biggest thing here. Don't get it on your pants. No, that is the thing. I hate. Ugh. I need to take a shower here in a minute. Ugh. Yeah. A little puddle on the floor here. Okay, so you need to make sure that it's not sitting in that hole crooked. I know it's kind of hard for me to show you, which I'm not even going to try at this point. But that little hat, it looks like this. Well, not like that. Like this. That little hat needs to be in the pipe, and it has to be sitting perpendicular perfectly to that clamp. So, and then don't get brake fluid in your nose. That's always disgusting. I will crank that down and try not to hurt the thing or bend it, screw it up. Once I get this down flat, all the way, it needs to go all the way flat until it touches this bracket, this vise, we'll call it, I guess. Looks like it's going down flat. Should stop, pretty harsh. Like, whoop, that's it, there's the wall, There it is. Get it all the way down. There we go. Okay. Now, take it loose. I don't have to get my little double flare thing out. And there's a good bubble on that. And then you go with just the tapered flare, and it pushes that into the inside, and that's how it's double flared. You want to make sure this is straight too, or you'll get, it looks like I'm a little crooked here. Let's take that loose. It's easy to get crooked when you're doing stuff like this underneath a truck. Not bad. Come on, get up. fucking brake lines underneath. There are better tools. This is the old school tools. Go down, just you feel like it's flat. I mean, you know, pushed it that flare nice. Notice the brake fluid is not pouring out of it at this point. We'll be here in a second again. And that looks like a normal double flare, like you would find at the store. Take this off. Oh, I gotta plug in this bag. Oh. I'm gonna plug that up or not. So I got that done. And then that should fit right on there. Hopefully there's no goofy burrs. And there's my union, which a lot of guys hate. But, you know, sometimes I don't have bulk rolls of this. You can order it, I guess. This line looks a little deceptively crooked. This is probably also a 13. I have a flare tool here. There's my little flare tool. 12. Put it in there. And then I can put my new brake line on it. Steady. Which is right here. Guess I had more than one of them flares. It's alright. Start. That's the beauty of this stuff, is it bends really, really, really easy. Get that. I'll loosen this up. Ooh, I got brake fluid all over the dang paint. You gotta wipe that off real quick. I try not to put more in it. Get this in here like this. Get that tightened up so it stops splatting everywhere. Get this back on the other side of this fuel line. Get that back in there. Okay. Flare wrench here. I might be able to get that straighter. Make the sound effects. Hey! Alright. Okay, back to this brake line. I got rid of all the leakies. And here's the fuel line, brake line. Let's see here. Put a little tab on that to reach over to that bracket. And I can get my, see, this is at full droop, so there's no way it's going to get down further than that. Put a bracket so it's over here. Maybe I'll take that off. Cat? No. Guess we could drill that. I thought I did. Let's try. Let's try to tighten that up just a little bit. Pretty little bit. What am I spinning on then? Okay. That's bizarre. Little thing moving? I see. Well, either it's going to work or it isn't going to work. Yeah, we'll just come down there with a bracket. A little bracket maybe. Oh. Always invest in a quality drill bits set. Ugh. Avoid a lot of frustration. Wow. These are all dull. See if the old redneck method will work on this one. Let's find out. You don't have enough shoulder, use a pry bar. Not like that though. There we go. Yeah, it's not going to overcome the dullness. Let's sharpen her up a little bit. Looks sharper, that doesn't mean it is. That all the way in there. All right, let's try it again. Guess it worked. I'll get my tap. Woohoo! Tapping! Haven't tapped anything in quite some time. 5/16. Save yourself some headache and put a little bit of grease or something on it. Oil, anything. Oh, let's take a look at this. I might have the hole a little tight, but go slow, even though it's a turbo tap. Pretty tough. Keep it straight. Don't get any side motion to it. Gets hard, back it up a little bit, knock the burr off. It's a lot less work to take your time now than it is to frickin' pound, because you can't drill it out, pound out the old tap, because the old tap is super hard, carbide hard. Yeah, I have some carbide bits, but man, do they slough off some nasty burrs. Get them in your eye and you're going to be feeling it. Get them in your hand, you're going to be wishing you hadn't. Okay. Now I could just put a 5/16 lock washer and bolt on that. Huh. Unless you got a 3/8 in your 5/16 drawer, which I just did. Another one. I'm losing my mind. Well, let's see how this goes. This ought to be fine. That'll be fine. Seems I need to drill my hole just a little bit bigger. Thought I had it. Let's try again. Could have sworn I had a 5/16 hole. That's better. Had a burr in it. Getting burly isn't always the best thing. We'll get that good and tight right there. Stainless steel strap there, fit right in it. Kind of hard to beat that. Let's see if I got a wrench for that. Yes, I do. Let's try again here. Ah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, babe, we're gonna move you to the padded chair. Here's the padded chair for you. Whoa, there you go. That's better. All right, now we're kicking some tushy. Tahushi. Yeah, I think we're gonna put one P-clamp on there, as they call it. We'll put a little whoop-de-doo on that up there. Let's try that again. Oh, sometimes stuff just doesn't work easy. The little details that just drive you crazy. I know what they say, don't sweat the details, but sometimes you got to. Because otherwise, you'll get holes rubbing in things. So next thing I want to do is put a P-clamp on there to hold it to the side so that it's not vibrating back there. Hooba-dooba! Hooba-dooby! Hooby-dooby! Hooby-dooby! Wada, wada, wada. Take that out of the way. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to tap that again. Careful, like. You know, I actually got some Tap Magic somewhere. Tap Magic is good stuff. See how I'm doing this with my thumb and my fingertips? That way I don't cock it off to the side and break it off. Yeah. Well, now she's getting tight, so I'm gonna break off the burr right. Gotta be careful. There it is. Okay. It's the first burr. Keep going. It's just tubing, so I can go right through it. No problemo. And that's it. She's through. And that'll take a 5/16 18 bolt, no problem. Yeah! Yeah! Now, if I had some 5/16 hose, I could put the fuel line on, and I could put the fuel tank up there. I'm gonna bring you over here while I assemble this fuel tank, sender, and stuff. Yes, I am. All right, here are the tank. Here's the old fuel level sender. Here's the new one. It's probably not a Toyota part, but I really don't think I'm going to be able to reuse this. But it's got the same plug configuration. And, you know, the droop is so close it's negligible. So hopefully, I gotta remember which way this thing goes on. The fuel pickup goes down there. This, better get a flashlight, I guess. Look down in there. I think I'll tell you it's safe and hook that and see if it goes where I hope it does. Another use for these handy dandy little things. Okay, well, we'll put this where it lines up with the holes. There. We'll see if that has clearance. Well, if I bolt it right there, should work. Better double, triple check this thing. I pray it has all the bolts with it. I need to line this up. I'm back. Okay. Put these screws in real quick. And hopefully the sender, fuel level sender, is square. With the tank. That's interesting. I see. Oh boy. Oh boy. Looks like the thing has to be indexed just right. Didn't think it would be, but that ain't right. Let's try this without the gasket. That is correct right there. Sometimes this stuff isn't as straightforward as it looks. Now, the old flashlight going again. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, that looks like she's gonna clear like a dream. Fuel level up. No, she's rubbing on the side a little bit. We'll tweak it just a little. No, I can't get my hand in there, but we'll see if I can twist this just slightly. You gotta check this stuff before you just throw it in, because you can have a sender that rubs on the side of the fuel tank and it gets stuck part way. Like in my 66 pickup had that. Really hard to adjust that, and then plus, you know, once you get fuel in it, then it really stinks. Because, yeah, literally it stinks. Oh, that ought to do it. Now we got it tight. Let's check it one more time because it's clearing. Buff a little paint off of that sender because because reasons. No, because I need to have a good ground. And we're just going through the bolts into this tank, which ought to be fine. But they better contact something. See where the bolts are going to go. They're rusty. You know, it might not get continuity. So, we'll take the old buff wheel here and make them shine a little bit. All right. If you see it, let me know. Might be easy to just, ouch, hit my knee on something and just do this number with the whiz wheel, the death wheel here. If I'm not mistaken, this has to go this way. We'll do a quick mock fit here to make sure it's going to sit down in that pocket. Huh. Interesting. It's actually lined up pretty good. I thought that was going to be crooked, but well, better get a gasket in there and the new screws. Thankfully it comes with all that because there was no reusing the old stuff. No, sir. Play the funky music, white boy. Play that funky music. Now, be nice if I could find the hole. There we go. Wow, that is only going to be happy one way. One of these times when I say there we go, it's going to be there. It's like these screws are too short. That's a son of a gun. Son of a gun, we're gonna have some fun on the bayou. Well, let's try that. Okay. Hey, it's pulling it down this time. That time it went a little further down. I have to get the flat screwdriver here. These things are taking a lot of torque to get them pulled in. I know you're thinking Phillips screwdriver is probably superior, but man, I don't know. Uno mas. Yeah. Too fat. Just like the operator. I'll give it a little more love on the old sanding belt here. It's starting to look like a fuel tank. I need to get the whatcha-dingy here. I got a new one of them too. I'm gonna try to reuse the old hose though. Here's the fuel filler. Perfect, we'll just weld it right there. No. Here's the old parts for that thing. What is it? Rusted out. Well, as I was saying earlier, bent this so that it wouldn't kink the line further. It's a little high, but it should be fine. It'll clear the bed, no problem. So there's some kind of clamp that goes here. I need to find that. Then I can get my hoses, which they look to me like they're all 5/16. So I'm gonna have to run to town and go get some hose. So Yeah. 'Tis my life. Live 20 miles from town, so I gotta keep running back and forth to town every time I need parts. Oh well. See you after a bit. Alrighty then. Well, we're putting the fuel tank in. I finally got the lines hopefully slitchitated here. Have to hand it to me because this thing's too tall. I don't want to make a hole in it. Let go of it. Let go of it. Hopefully it's not turned wrong, because then I'll have to reposition the whole hose, which is not the super easiest thing ever. Yeah, that's a fun spot to work on. Guess I can do it from down here somehow. That one's going to be awfully short. This one here has a vent one. Yeah, these are fun to get at, but we'll get them. Sort of, kinder. Ooh, this is not the right size. Oh, it's right here. Put this back over there. Now for the return line. This one's the most important one for this side. Ooh, I should have put some squirrel pee on that one. Let me get some. Sometimes hoses don't like to be dry when you put them on. That is a fact. So we put a little squirrel juice on it, so to speak. That's better. Ooh, that went right on like nothing. Crazy. Thank you, Mr. Squirrel. Oh, there it is. There it isn't. Yeah, I really like these line clamps. You just know they're not going to come loose. All right, now I can go the rest of the way up. Hello, Mr. Douglas. Oh, it's hanging in the door. I need to have those wires. I need to get this out of here. This stuff needs to go away. Now I'm gonna need to fish that over the frame. Yeah. Yep. You gotta remember what that's all for. Pretty sure this is the one that's for the fuel tank. And this one here, I think, goes to the back. It's the beauty of a Toyota. You know, it's all one wire harness from front to rear. It's kind of cool, but good job. Ooh, that's ugly. Whatever. Get this fished over top of the frame. The frame. See it. This, yeah, it's this thing. Grab that. I gotta get it around this filler neck. Well, I guess we could do this. Yeah. Okay. That's together. That's the fuel pump. And then should be a loose wire here for this thing goes to the sender. Now we can finish going up. Yeah. Yep. Now we can. Ow, my knee. Ouch. I'm gonna need that bolt back that's laying by your feet. That and that washer. Thank you. You stink. Okay. Keep an eye on that filler neck. We need to relocate it. We'll have to relocate it. What am I hitting? How's the brake line doing? Lots of room for the brake line at the moment. What am I hitting? What is it hitting? It's like it's squishing it. Give me a bolt and give me that bag with the bolts and washers in it. Thank you. Okay, we on. Got the fuel tank in there. Had a few minor adjustments we had to do. I had to move this bracket over. Previously, I drilled and tapped it over on this cross member here, and it was hitting the tank, so I moved it over here. That'll be just fabulous, fabulary. This time I used Croil for tapping those threads. Well, that worked a lot better than WD-40. I mean, Tap Magic is probably still better, but that Croil was surprisingly good. All right, where's the rat? Chip with the half-inch ranch dressing on it. Well, here's the half-inch. How's that look, boy? You good? Oh, here. Let's show them. Got the new nozzle in there, which is not extremely evident from that side, but if you look in here, here, shine up here. You can come on this side. No, come over here where my face is. Oh, yeah, look up in there. Look more towards the tank though. Okay. Yeah, we had to fish a bunch of wires, and there's a new hose, and yeah, all the lines are hooked up now. And I use line clamps instead of those worm type clamps. They might need to be tightened up some more later, but let me tell you what, they don't come loose. So plus that line it's low pressure fuel injection. I mean, the internet said it was 44 psi. Well, that's definitely what, 58 for an LS, I believe. So anyway, you want to go on the other side and look up in here. All the bolts lined up pretty well. I got to hook up this fuel line down here with an ouch, yep, with a line clamp yet, right here. So here's the return, and this one here got stretched pretty tight. That's a vent. I guess it's not terrible. It'll stay away from the, anything hot this way. It's just a vent. It goes to the vent canister kind of like a Chevy, old school Chevys do. I had to cut a piece of that off because it was bad on the end, but the rest of the hose was good. So I'm glad I didn't buy the whole works because, okay, I bought 6 foot of this fuel injection line. Yeah, it cost me $40 for just that hose. That's pathetic. It's 5/16 fuel hose, but it's rated for fuel injection pressures. I don't know what your old standard hose is good for. I mean, normally a Chevy runs what, 7 PSI? An old carbureted Chevy. So anyway, I just need to cut this and put a hose clamp on there, and then we'll be done with the fuel tank. And the brake line is also done. There's the splice here, which I showed you earlier. I put a little piece of hose up there to keep it from, rattling on the frame. Rattling. I guess I could put this up in here. It's just the vent hose. Give it a little more cushion. And then we start going to the transmission replacement. I got to put the new bearing in it. And I got to put the rear bumper on yet, which shouldn't be a big deal. Aside from drilling the holes, I might have to get my right angle drill out of the old bottom of the toolbox, which I hardly ever use. But it's impressive how those air drills actually drill. They're pretty efficient. You would think they wouldn't be, but they are. Anyway, so yeah, we'll just leave it on that side. Other than that, that's it for today, I guess. It's getting late. Okay, later.